two of them. I'm sure anybody in chat maybe could catch us up on anything that may have happened. Looks like we are off on
here we
race
go.
2 here. So our runner's picking up the mushroom here in 1-1. The eventual goal is to end up grabbing a tail in one fortress and using that to fly up and grab the whistle that we all learned about from the wizard.
Good old wizard.
Why does he get so many points for grabbing? You don't get any points for grabbing the whistle. That's the one thing that always bothered me. You see both of our runners grabbing that early P-speed in 1-2. Cujo getting a little caught up by the pipe. Chuck actually losing his P-speed, but just going to some sliding speed here. And looks like Cujo is the first one out of 1-2.
That was quite a bit of the shaky 1-2 from both players. They managed to get P-speed earlier on, then they lose it. Well, Chuck loses it, but Cujo maintains the speed. As both of them are entered in the one fort, and Cujo getting the waffle jump while Chuck opts to not go for the waffle jump, trying to keep his P-speed to get the leaf. Grab the whistle here, which we will not be using in this race. It's just faster to take the shortcut that way to finish the level quicker.
So we see both runners taking a hit intentionally in 1-5. The general consensus is that having a tail makes it so that you are a little bit slower than having either Big Mario or Fire Mario, as anytime you jump with the tail, you start to lose some of your horizontal momentum. And anytime you have P-speed and jump with the tail, the game starts a timer and then just automatically removes your P-speed once that timer runs out. So meanwhile, as Fire Mario, Big Mario, you can kind of keep that P-speed indefinitely as long as the game still thinks you're running. So generally, you'll see these guys with Big Mario, Fire Mario, something like that, in order to beat these stages as quickly as possible.
Beautiful 1-6 from both runners, getting the Superman jump. See Cujo entering the first bro. Chuck gets it as well, but he has it at a very interesting spot. He can actually get the Fire Flower here while Cujo can't. I guess it depends on where the Hammer Bro's standing on the map.
Right, that spot over to the left that we saw Chuck on actually does allow him to pick up the Fire Flower there. Cujo's was one over to the right where there's no power-up in that spot. There's a couple other spots on different overworlds that also do have that power-up, but that's the only one that really we'll see in this run, as I think just about all the other ones are tails or leaves instead. So the only time we will see use of that little mechanic. But yeah, should give Chuck just like a little bit of a half-second advantage, but we still see Cujo slightly ahead, mostly due to that quicker 1-2.
Now we see Cujo grab the Fire Flower. Oh, shows there's like 2 wins for Chuck. There we go, that should be good.
Looks like Cujo with a 332 wand grab, Chuck with a 336. So Cujo with a slight lead as we move into World 2 here.
All right, so we're heading into Desert Land. Just got some pretty nifty P-speed strats. So you kind of see Cujo just kind of brushing up against that wall. Same with Chuck, just to get P-speed and maintain it. Usually not that hard of a level to get P-speed.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a kind of interesting P-speed build compared to some of your more normal ones, as you run into something but keep your P-speed. But overall, pretty straightforward. A lot of the levels in World 2, I would say, are maybe a touch on the easier side compared to World 1. A lot of the levels in World 2 are a little bit more open, giving you a little bit more freedom to run, less obstacles you have to kind of get around quickly. So we probably won't see too much separation, other than maybe the Hammer Bros here. There is a kind of something they have to pay attention to with the Bros.
Yeah, exactly. Also, like on 2-2, like if they were to like stand on a platform and then try to move, it almost seems like there's a magnetic pull, so they won't be able to progress any further. It's pretty interesting how it does that, you know, Nintendo logic.
Yeah, really strange physics there. I think the game just decides to recalculate Mario's speed all of a sudden. So it's kind of an interesting thing, but both runners getting through 2F pretty solidly here. And we'll be using that Fire Flower to kill Boom Boom. 5 fireballs kills him a bit faster than using 3 jumps. So both with a very nice fire kill. We do have a question from the chat about wand grabbing. It is actually faster to let the wand fall to you, as the wand falls to Mario faster than Mario falls in the cutscene after that. So it's just a few frames faster to let the wand just fall to you, as opposed to jumping for it. You see Cujo going for the red rocket strat, carrying that red shell all the way over, and you see how quickly that red shell just shoots through all of those blocks. Meanwhile, Chuck grabbing the green shell to do the same thing goes a little slower, so Cujo does save just a little bit of time in 2-3 from that.
That red rocket strat is so cool.
It actually, fun fact, came from Frog%. Shoutouts to me. That was the strat. That was the strat in Frog% because you need a shell to run as Frog Mario. So I would always just pick that one up. And then I noticed one time that if you carry it all the way to the end and kick it with P-Speed, shells kind of inherit Mario's speed plus a little bit more. So kicking that shell at P-Speed makes it go faster than the regular shell. So we eventually, not me, somebody else adapted it for actual use in normal running. So pretty cool how that all worked out. But seeing both of our runners picking 2-5 here, 2-4 generally is a little bit faster, but it's about the same. You basically kind of pick whichever level lets you get to that hammer, which both of our runners are still trying to wait and see if they can grab, instead of having to grab both that and the music box. Looks like Cujo has some good luck here. He'll be able to move ahead just fine. Chuck's got to kind of hope for some good luck here from these bros.
Ooh, looks like they switched. Should get the hammer in this one. Hopefully that other hammer will not go directly to him.
Yeah, he's hoping that this hammer doesn't move over to him and he can skip over this. Oh, some bad luck there, Chuck getting that extra music box.
Ah, dang.
He will have a chance to perhaps skip a bro coming up in World 5 that also has a music box, but in general that is going to lose him a little bit of time to Cujo.
Alright, Cujo's getting the hammer here. Chuck is about halfway through the pyramid.
Yeah, so Cujo, our first one into the World 2 airship.
See a spider.
Yeah, World 2 King definitely would want to be transformed back from a spider. I wouldn't want to be a spider personally. I don't know about anybody else.
No, not me either. Although we did see in the World 1 airship, we saw a dog. I thought that was Rupert's dog all along.
Whoa, what if that was Smokey Robinson the whole time? The lore. I'm just accepting that. I'm just accepting that Rupert's dog is the dog in World 1.
We'll just say that, yeah. Shout out to Rupert's dog. Smokey Robinson.
But, both of our runners doing what they can to stay awake in these auto-scrollers. Most of the auto-scrollers in this game really have no luck involved in them. If you do the same thing, you'll get the exact same result. So it's all about finding something that keeps you entertained, keeps you from taking any hits, and you should be able to do the same thing every time.
Yeah, there will be some instances where you're kind of like showing up a little too much in an auto-scroller, and then sometimes it just kind of bites you in the butt.
Oh, definitely. You see Cujo picking up a fire kill on Morton. I think that it was still a little bit faster than a jump kill, but looks like he had to kind of make do. The fire kill patterns are all dependent on how long it takes you to get from the level you just completed to the pipe itself. So a lot of it comes down to kind of where you are in the map when you're moving there. We see Chuck missing a couple fireballs early, decides to just go with the jumps. So a bit of an early lead here for Cujo, but Chuck does have a little bit of a chance to catch up based on luck, and obviously we're only 10 minutes into a 50-minute and change race, so lots of things could change before that.
Yeah, also we saw with Morton, he is a big boy, but he doesn't have the big boy mechanics.
Yeah, does not slam the ground like our other big boys, Roy and Ludwig. I think maybe they had that plan, but then took it out. I would say that would maybe be that may be a little too hard for the World 2 airship. We did see Cujo get the first frame jump in 3-1. You actually have one frame which you can leap in the air, which saves you a little bit of time over having to swim. Swimming, the slowest movement option in the game, so we try to avoid it if at all possible. But luckily, it's not too many places in the Warpless route where you have to do it. Cujo's setting up for 3-2 P-speed here. Looks like he's got it. 3-2, a very, very difficult stage, no matter how you slice it. I have to deal with some really interesting cheap hitboxes. Cujo with a very, very nice 3-2 there.
293 pipe entry. That was beautiful. Let's see what Chuck goes for here in 3-2.
Looks like he's also setting up for the P-speed.
Looks like he got it as well.
The crouch jump for his extra swag. Very nice.
Also with a 293.
I guess we have not mentioned yet the Hammer Bros in World 3 and how important they are. You'll see some bridges on the overworld that kind of move up and down every time Mario exits the stage. There's actually another set on the next screen over that you want to have set up in such a way where you can cloud over 3-6 and go all the way to 3-8, effectively skipping most of the second half of World 3. You see Chuck with a little trouble here in 3-3, but he's able to get out of the water, and he'll be moving on. But optimally, you want to finish all of the first few stages of the world and also fight both of those Hammer Bros. So it's very important that those Hammer Bros kind of stay put and don't run away to the other side of the screen. Looks like both runners are going to be okay here. Cujo has a decision to make. Okay, he decides to just fight this bro. He could get two bad movements in a row here and have that bro run away, but if he gets one movement, that's okay. He'll be fine here. Ooh, and that bro is threatening.
That's
so
very
pay attention
close.
to that bro in the top right after Cujo finishes up 3-4 here.
Yeah, hopefully the bro will go left. As Chuck finishes up the fortress, so he's gonna have his shot at the bros right now. So this one's the star bro because they switched on him in the previous level.
And Cujo
we gotta run away.
So he's going to have to take an intentional death here in 3-6 to reset the bridges. And he's going to hope that this bro actually stays away now, and he does. Okay. So Cujo now has the bridges set up correctly. He's going to be able to cloud over, go straight to 3-8 here. Meanwhile, Chuck wrapping up 3-4.
Yes, definitely something you don't want to see happen. A runaway bro in World 3.
Yeah, luckily for Cujo, that is a star, so he can kind of route around the item missing, but obviously losing his fire and losing a little bit of time to an extra death is going to cost him here.
At least he got through 3-8.
Yeah, that's the real scary moment. 3-8 has Boss Bass, which is a one-hit KO. You really can't do anything if he just decides to eat you. You're just done. So looks like both the runners are going to get out. Cujo grabbing that little H jump. Very nice management of P-speed there to make it. And he's going to go straight into Wendy's. He's probably pick up the mushroom, but he's going to go in big, which will be interesting to see.
Yeah, normally you would want to have fire against Wendy, but Cujo's a veteran, so he'll know what to do against her. As we see Chuck going through 3-9 here. Also getting the little H jump.
Yeah, so Chuck is going to make up a pretty decent chunk of time here. Was able to avoid taking that extra death. Also is going to have fire for this Wendy kill. Wendy, one of the most difficult jump kills of the Koopa Kids, as she's got wings that just kind of keep flying around the stage as the fight progresses. whereas she has a nice flat background, or flat floor, which makes fire kill pretty straightforward on her. So Chuck will be able to make up a little bit of time, have a little bit of an easier fight here. But if you're aggressive enough, and I'm sure Cujo knows exactly what to do here, the jump kill is not too bad. So we'll see how it goes for him.
Yeah, sometimes those rings can be an issue when you don't have the fire flower. You have to like stomp on her head at the right exact moment before she throws the ring.
Yeah, you get like just a slight moment of time where she pops up and before she throws the ring, where you can get her again before she tosses it. But if she gets another ring out, you kind of just all of a sudden have to deal with that as well.
There we go. Here's Cujo's section.
Cujo very nicely done there, being aggressive enough to keep one ring on the screen. Looks like a 1536-1 grab.
Yeah, I also kind of noticed that Wendy was doing a short hop, so Cujo was able to get a stomp in there without her having to throw the ring. So very nicely done from Cujo. So we see Chuck entering in Wendy's lair. Nice shooting fire. 10 fireballs to the face. Grabbing it at a 1603.
So about a 25-30 second lead for Cujo moving into World 4. There is a discrepancy in their inventories that might play a difference here. Chuck does have an extra music box and an extra star. The extra star being not quite as important. But also going to have a little bit of an advantage here in the beginning of World 4. It's going to be a couple of strats he can do a little quicker and a little safer with Fire Flower. But we see Cujo getting some nice B-speed in 4-1.
Yeah, even with that intentional death that Cujo had to take, he didn't really lose much time from it.
Yeah, he reacted, knew exactly what to do, knew exactly how to react to it. That's the sign you see from, you know, a veteran runner like Cujo, just knowing exactly how to react from a situation like that. We see Chuck unable to get a slightly faster but slightly more difficult P-speed pickup in 4-1 as Cujo moves through 4-2, nice and easy. We see both of our runners doing a little turn back there. I guess we haven't talked about that. You actually want to avoid getting 3 of a kind on the card game, as if you do that, the game kind of plays you a little fanfare and gives you a few extra lives. Obviously, our runners won't be needing those lives, but they do want to save that time. So doing a little turn back, usually either on the second or third card, and sets it up so that you can get 3 different cards and not have to deal with that fanfare.
And here we go with arguably a lot of people's favorite stage, 4-3, where it looks very cool getting P-speed throughout the entire level. And Cujo just gets through it just fine. You see Chuck entering in there as well.
Another thing I do want to note is that Cujo has already fought the Cloud Bro here in World 4. Obviously, Cloud's letting you skip over stage is very, very important item. Chuck has not quite fought that bro yet, but will soon. And there's also a Star and a P-Wing bro at the end of World 4. And there's a matching set at the beginning of World 5. And what our runners will probably try to do here is get 1 P-Wing out of that big set of 4. As Cujo very nearly avoids the Sniperino there in 4-4.
Almost. That was so close.
So this will be an interesting point here, too, to see maybe does Cujo decide to pick up an extra star here since you need one? Looks like he's just going to use his music box here in 4 to put those bros to sleep, and he'll press his luck in World 5.
Cujo's going all out on this one if he wants to catch up.
Yeah, love that little P-speed manipulation there, kind of floating in the air to keep the P-speed, let that turtle walk far enough over so he doesn't hit the invisible block. And keep it all the way through 4-4 there, very nice, or 4-6 there, very nicely done.
Let's see what Chuck is going to do here.
So he's actually got a potential box list set up here. He could skip all these bros without having to use a music box. Unfortunately, he's already got the music box he needs, so wouldn't help him out a whole lot, but would be nice to get. As we see Cujo finally picking up his Fire Flower again in 4F2. But we'll see how these bros move for both runners here. Could have a bit of a change in the lead here based on how these bros move. Chuck deciding to just fight this bro here.
The P-Wing.
And does grab the P-Wing. He's going to hope that this other bro walks over to the right which would allow him to skip the bros. Yeah, very nice there. So good job by Chuck kind of recognizing the pattern of the bros here, getting the bro he wanted, and now he'll be able to cloud or use his music box in World 5. He could actually go through World 5 without fighting a single hammer bro, which could be a pretty big swing. But Cujo, our first runner onto the World 4 airship. You want to talk about how exciting the World 4 airship is? And just how it's just an absolute blast.
This level 4 airship goes at a blistering 15 pixels per second.
Oof, watch out.
So fast. And this is, I believe it goes about 2 to 2.5 minutes or so, roughly. And yeah, it's probably a good time to, you know, grab some popcorn, grab a soda, or whatever drink you want to drink. Beer.
I grabbed a sandwich here that I bought at a gas station on the way home, so
yeah, there you go.
Good here.
And Chuck with the correct coin count, by the way.
Nice. Yeah, I guess we haven't talked about that yet, and World 4 Airship is as good a time as any. Our runners have been adjusting their coin counts and their score in order to avoid things called coin ships. And how those work is if your coin count is a multiple of 11, and the 10th digit of your score is that same number, in any of the worlds that spawn normal hammer bros, so worlds 1, 3, 5, and 6, as soon as you exit a stage with those conditions, it'll turn one of those bros into a coin chip, which is really cool if you're playing the game casually. Allows you to get some extra lives, and it's a fun little thing to do, and whatever. But it's a long auto-scroller, scrolls as fast as this World 4 airship does. So it's something you obviously want to avoid in a speed run. So throughout the run, you'll see our runners grabbing coins in certain spots or hitting bricks in certain ways in order to kind of adjust their score and their coin counts to avoid those coin ships. And both runners setting up at a coin count that will kind of work favorably for them in World 5. You see Cujo going for a fire kill on Iggy. Doesn't quite get the fastest kill, but does clean it up nicely. Looks like a 21:53 wand grab for him. Don't worry, it's a quality gas station sandwich. It's spicy chicken. It's really nice. I probably won't die of food poisoning, hopefully. Talking about spicy, let's talk about this race.
Yeah, I mean, now we see Chuck entering Iggy's lair, going for the fire kill maybe, gets 4 shots. 6.
Looks like he just decides to go with the old jump.
Stomp strat, yeah.
But a 21:32 one grab for him. But as we mentioned, there could be a pretty big swing here based on the Hammer Brothers. Chuck can potentially skip every single bro here in World 5, where Cujo will want to fight at least 2 of them. So that could have a major sway here, especially if Cujo ends up getting all 3 of the bros here. Could be like about a 45-second swing. So we'll see how it all works out for these guys.
All right, here we go. 5-2, one of the worst levels out there.
Yeah,
he doesn't get the pit of, the pit of despair.
Yeah, definitely do not want to fall down that pit of despair. We have seen it from different runners in this tournament. This upper route, much safer, much faster than the slower route. So, than the slower, lower route. So definitely something you want to avoid.
Yeah, some people had the misfortune of missing that, including yours truly.
It's rough. Like it's one of those sections where it's like, well, what do I even do now?
Yeah.
Do I take the death? Do I not take the death? Like, there's a P-speed strat that actually Cujo has developed. I don't think I've ever seen him do it in a run because he never misses 5-2. But one of these days, I'm kind of like in a race where, I mean, I guess at this point, every race counts for him. So I don't think we'll ever see it. But like, I just want to see him like accidentally, quote unquote, fall in and just bust out that P-speed strat.
Yeah.
But, I don't think we'll see that happening. Cujo's too good to let that happen. Not sure how these bros are lined up for Cujo. We'll see if this is the P-Wing or not. He's going to want the P-Wing here, obviously not really wanting the star. Does get the star, unfortunately.
Oof.
So we'll see what this bro does if he walks back down. Oh, he walks over to the left, and Cujo deciding to go fight that bro. That's an interesting call. A lot of times you'll see runners just decide to skip past that P-Wing and kind of work it out of their route. But Cujo deciding to take the trip all the way around again to get that P-Wing.
Yeah, Chuck actually used his music box right before he entered the fortress, so he's gonna be in the tower now. Not too far behind from Cujo at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that sway happening right here. Those 2 extra bros Cujo fought is really giving Chuck an extra leg up here, and he could potentially... Cujo's going to want to fight this last bro in the sky, but Chuck, if he can, will skip over it. So we could see Chuck take the lead here, depending on the luck at the end of this World 5. But very solid towers from both runners. Really, really tricky to keep your P-speed throughout all of these rooms. So very nicely done.
Yeah, Cujo exiting the level with a 280.
And
yeah,
Chuck does as well.
5-4.
Very
yep.
nice.
Very nice level from both guys.
Yeah, all the stages up here in the sky are over open pit, so while none of these stages are exactly the most difficult, they're very, very punishing. Any mistake you make can easily result in a death, so runners going to have to keep on their toes here and make sure they jump carefully. See, Cujo unable to get that early P-speed in 5-5. That's a very, very tight timing. Really got to manipulate your P-meter just right in order to get that. We'll see if Chuck is able to pull it off. Yeah, he just missed it as well. That's one of the most difficult P-speed builds in the entire game. So something that not uncommon to see runners of any caliber miss it. See Cujo with a nice 5-7 P-speed. Actually, I think he had a frame-perfect jump there, and the game thought he was in the air the whole time, and actually took his P-speed away from him.
Oh,
that
wow.
actually can happen. Yeah, if you jump frame perfectly, the game never realizes you're on the ground. So Cujo going back to fight this bro here. So he's kind of caught up on his inventory here. We'll see what this bro does for Chuck. He might be able to skip it here, and these guys would be basically tied back up. Oh, that's a bad spot for the bro to walk for Chuck. Not only is he going to have to fight it now, but he's going to have to deal with some extra movements here as well. So a little bit of bad luck there from Chuck, but he has very much closed this gap.
Very nice P-speed in the Sky Fortress. Shoot Boom Boom 5 times. Grab the orb. So now Chuck is going to have to fight this bro while Cujo's going to go... Oh wait, sorry. I forgot about 5-8.
Yeah, it's, you know what, it's a forgettable stage. You just kind of run through it. It's not that hard.
Yeah, wasn't there something that Nintendo Power mentioned about this?
Yeah, Nintendo Power thinks that you can't get through that stage without taking a hit. But both of our runners proving that they're above the power and getting through it very nice and cleanly. So yeah, we'll see Cujo heading straight to the World 5 airship here while Chuck has to fight this bro. So looking like about a 20 to 25 second lead for Cujo. So Chuck closing that gap slightly with the luck kind of evening out, but Cujo's still holding this lead.
Yeah, I pretty much looked for a moment that they're very close by, but just with that bro movement, kind of pretty much determined the lead for the outgoing World 5 here.
Yeah, there's maybe one situation where that music box could come in handy for Chuck on World 6 here, depending on how those bros shake out, but for the most part, that's just going to pretty much end up being just some time loss he has to eat due to some bad luck. I guess Cujo did get technically an extra star, but he missed the one in World 3, so he's kind of back on track in terms of his inventory, so getting that extra star, maybe not the worst thing in the world for him.
Yeah, even though it's like you got to go fast in each of these levels, it's very important to, you know, basically keep track of your inventory. Even with one missed item can pretty much, you know, mess up the route.
Yeah, you really gotta think, especially if you are missing one of those items. Okay, what does that mean for my strats? You know, where do I have to make that change to kind of get back to where I need to be? You see Cujo with a nice Roy jump kill there, gets it 29-11 on the one grab. Chuck just about to enter here, and going for the fire kill, and gets it very nicely done there.
Big boy Roy.
29-24, so about a 13-second lead for Cujo. So definitely anybody's race still at this point.
And they have saved Gandalf.
He seems really thrilled. He seems really thrilled about it. Look at that smile on his face. That is the happiest king I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, goodness.
So Cujo going to use a hammer here to skip past 6-1, 6-2, and 6-3. And he's going to actually get a hammer right back from this hammer bro. And that'll be used later on in this world. World 6 and World 7, where you start to see the use of all of the items that our runners have accrued. They're the first 5 worlds, as a lot of these stages are more difficult and longer, obviously. So using those items really does help out in terms of getting through these stages quickly. You see Cujo stops to grab an extra coin in 6F1. I think that kind of threw off his intended strat at first, but able to get the damage boost across the spikes. He's going to pick up this star, hopefully carry it all the way over here, and hi, Boom Boom.
Bye, Boom Boom.
So very nicely done there, using that star to just one-shot Boom Boom. Chuck having a little bit of trouble grabbing the star, but does get it, and he should be able to match the Boom Boom kill as well.
Orb.
Ooh, very nice P-speed there from Cujo. The 6-4 early P-speed is actually sub-pixel dependent, so you can do the strat that you want to do completely perfectly and just not have it work out for you. But Cujo able to execute perfectly and get that good luck, and looks like Chuck does as well. Very nice from both runners here. It's always terrifying, that 6-4 P-speed, because you're never sure if you're going to get it or not. So both runners doing quite well once getting it.
Yep, and now we see Cujo in 6-5 with P-Wing. Gonna do a little bit of a manipulation here where he can despawn one of the nippers. It does it very well. Basically, just kind of tail swipe 2 of the Buster Beetles and then kind of run down a hill. And that should set up a despawn for one of those nippers. And we're going to see Chuck do that same exact thing.
You see Cujo actually buffered over that hammer bro there. That one had the star. He recognized it. And so he actually used the map transition to buffer past it and get just the cloud. You see Chuck having a little trouble with his despawn, has to go down and pick up the shell and take it up. Cujo, I think, just clipped into the ceiling there. It looked like it. Maybe he didn't, but very nice flights through 6F3. Takes a hit there, but not the worst thing in the world. 6-8 should play out just the same here. See Chuck also getting that map buffer over the star bro.
Yeah, Cujo actually took a hit on the last thwomp before entering the door. So he's small right now, heading into 6-8, which shouldn't be really a problem, depending on what he does. Oh, he has a star that he can use. Forgot about that.
Yeah, decides to use his star here, just to make sure he's extra careful here. And actually, kind of messes up his strat, does not get the big H jump, but should be able to clean up the rest of the stage without too much difficulty here. So Cujo exiting 6-8 just as Chuck is entering it, so pretty much a lead of 6-8 for Cujo. As you see Chuck able to get the big H jump. So shoutouts to 6-9, a stage you can just use a P-Wing and fly over. Easy peasy.
Yeah, in case they didn't have that extra P-Wing on their disposal, they could play 6-10 and grab the Fire Flower. And then they'll just have to keep it all the way up to Lemmy's ship.
Yeah, and you could also, if you're small Mario especially, just do a wall jump on 6-9. It is a pixel-perfect, frame-perfect trick, but something that isn't as hard as it sounds. So I was kind of thinking Cujo was going to take one of those 2 options when he didn't get that P-Wing lined up. But decides to just play it safe, I guess, and just get the P-Wing like normal, do the route as normal. Doesn't want to get hung up on an alternate route or anything like that, I guess. But we see Cujo wrapping up 6F3 as Chuck is just about to enter into Boom Boom's room. So both runners about holding serve. I think Cujo maybe gaining a little bit of time based mostly on that 6-5 going a little smoother for him. But he did have a little trouble in 6-8 as well, so not really a major shift here as we head into World 7.
Alright, so we see Cujo taking control of Mario in the airship at 34-31. And then we'll see what time Chuck gets in. Chuck goes in at 34:45.
Yeah, so they were about 13 seconds at the one grab with 14 seconds going on the airship, so really not any change here. Both runners having pretty equal World 6s.
Cujo missed the clip there. He's going to have to go through the fire gauntlet here.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to have to play the video game an extra 15 seconds.
We thought Chuck died there, but he actually made a fool of us because there's a platform there that you can stand on.
And Chuck gets the airship clip. Gets to let the video game play itself for a while.
Yep, no fire gauntlet for Chuck, so that's pretty neat. There's a power-up block here, but it does contain a leaf, which they don't really need. Because they want to be big coming out of the airship here. For the true gauntlet, 7-1.
35-46-1 grab in World 6 for Cujo. Alright, so take your guesses, everybody. How many tries on the 7-1 clip for each runner? We saw Chuck get it first try last race, with Cujo having 13 attempts on it. So I'm going to say 5 tries for Cujo and 7 tries for Chuck.
I'm going to say 5 for Chuck, 3 for Cujo.
Okay, so we're both saying Cujo 2 faster, though.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes here.
And Chuck did grab the 1 at 36 flat.
It looked like Cujo got sub-pixeled on that first attempt. You can actually do everything right, but the game kind of has the wrong position for Mario. Looks like he gets in 3rd try, though, so very nice.
There we go. Let's see what Chuck does here. He's probably going to prove me wrong. There's the 5th one. Nope, didn't get it. Will it be 7?
Having some problem here. Does get in on the 7th attempt there. So a little bit of a faster 7-1 clip for Cujo is going to extend his lead ever so slightly. It looks like he has a very nice 7-2, kind of exercising his demons from the last race in both of those stages, making him through pretty cleanly. So about a lead of 7-2 for Cujo as they move on. This is kind of the take your breath section here, World 7. Pretty straightforward stage in 7-3, and then a couple of flyover stages in 7F1 and 7-6. But then the difficulty cranks right back up in 7-8. So we shouldn't see anything too crazy happen in these next few stages, but then right after that we can see some real changing depending on how those stages go for each runner. You got a question for the chat. What triggers the endgame to appear? It's actually every 16 or 160,000 points, or 16,000, one of the two. It spawns, and then actually, if you beat the world without clearing that endgame, it actually will just spawn again once you clear your first stage of the next world. 80,000, that's what it was. I could not remember. 16,000 sounded wrong. 160,000 sounded wrong too. 80,000 points. Thank you. I was there's some amount of points, you know. You get points in the game's like, hey, you got points. Here's the thing. Alright, cool. If you get 160,000 points, you can get 2 of them. So there you go. I was right the whole time.
Oh man. Okay, now we see a couple of P-Wing strats here. First using it on the Fortress, and now at 7-6. It's like nothing really to say about those there.
I'm interested to see what routes our runners will decide to use here at the end. They do have one more cloud to use, and they kind of have their choice between 7-9, 7F2, and 8F. We saw Cujo cloud over 8F last race. We saw Chuck take 7F2 out of the equation. But we'll see kind of which one our runners decide to go for. 8F is the fastest option, but is the riskiest. And kind of goes from there in terms of risk. So, nice 7-8 there from Cujo, making it through very cleanly. We'll see what he decides to do here.
Chuck just entering 7-8. See what Cujo does. He's going to play 7-9. Chuck get a little bit hung up in 7-8 right now. Should be able to get through it just fine.
Yeah, this is going to be a little interesting because the Fire Nipper at the very, very end of this world is based on a global timer, so Chuck doesn't really know what he's going to do here. Yeah, takes the hit there, but that's okay. He's going to be able to get a mushroom here if he goes to 7-9. Cujo grabs the Fire Flower, but having some trouble getting the split. Just finally gets that first one. And gets the second one first try. See if he goes for the third. No, decides to just take the maze around for the last two.
See what Chuck is going to do.
Also going for 7-9 here. So 258 pipe for Cujo and 7-9. Chuck getting the first two clips pretty quickly. And decides to... Looks like he's going to go for the third clip here to get under, but doesn't get it. That's a really hard clip to get, actually. That little hole that is in the ground is actually kind of right where it's perfect to jump. So you have to really adjust your jump there to get it. But 268 pipe for Chuck. Ooh, Cujo loses both his power-ups here. He's going to have to play it safe in 7F2 here. Oh, and he takes a death!
Oh, no!
I don't know if that was just an eat and jump input or what that was. But now he decides to cloud over 7F2 as Chuck does the same. So Chuck has actually entered the World 7 airship ahead of Cujo.
Oh, definitely don't want to see that happening, especially in 7-4-2.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it that can be a really costly death if you decide to cloud over 7-9, as you have to go back, play 7-9, and then play 7F2. Cujo, I think, did a really smart thing there in just deciding, okay, I'm going to cut my losses, not try to redo 7F2 again, and just go straight to the airship. So a good call there, but that does give Chuck just a slight edge as we move through the World 7 airship. It is actually the longest auto-scroller of the game. It is twice as long as the World 4 airship, so even though it scrolls at normal speed, it actually does end up being a little bit longer. One nice thing for Cujo here is that both of the power-up blocks contain fire flowers, so even though he came in small, he's going to be able to grab a fire flower here by the end of this airship.
He's just approaching that fire flower block right now. Here we see he grabs it. The chicken nugget Mario, as I call it.
I can't unsee that now. I literally can't. Ever since he told me that you saw a chicken nugget, I'm like, that's what he is. That's what he is now. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, while we're in this airship, I might as well tell a story about how I see it as a chicken nugget. So, when I first got this game, I was like maybe 3 or 4 years old, and the first time I saw, Mario grab the fire flower and they gave him this color palette, I literally thought that he was a chicken nugget covered in marinara sauce. And like the fireballs that he shoots, they're like white, so I figured they're like spicy mozzarella fireballs.
There you go. I'm all for this.
Food.
Yeah.
I definitely can think about food whenever you play a Mario game. So, as we see Chuck enter Ludwig's layer here, just gonna go for the stomp strats. It is actually a much more difficult kill to get with the fire on this guy. So Chuck grabs it at 43-13, and Cujo grabs it at 43-16. So just about 3 seconds between these guys now.
Yeah, that is a lead that does not matter. They are tied. Let's just put it. I mean, there's gonna have to be a lot of things that will have to line up for that 3 seconds to really matter. It's just gonna all come down to this World 8 and both their luck and their execution here. So if you thought, man, those 2 minutes of auto-scrolling were a hoot, and it's too bad we're not going to get any more, don't worry. The first 2 stages of World 8 are both auto-scrollers as our runners start to move through the various... I think people have started calling it the branches of Bowser's army. You got like the army, the navy, and all that. I don't know. They're just auto-scrollers is all I think about.
Bowser's all thinking, oh man, Mario's getting close. We're just gonna send the what do you call it? The armory people.
Yeah, he just opens it up. Just says, everybody go.
Unleashes his army.
They're really inefficient though. They're all just moving at this exact same speed. And they're like, see, like Mario's already passed it. They don't even try. Why are they shooting the cannonballs now? Mario's past them. Come on. Bowser needs to, you know, he needs to train his army a bit better. They're clearly just not doing their job here.
They're pretty much all on autopilot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a waste of good resources and good talent.
Just
but hey,
passing through them.
After these two auto-scrollers, we get to have a fun little time where our runners will have to go through some optional stages. There's 3 stages, each of them with a 50-50 chance of grabbing the runner and pulling them in. We call them the hand stages. And because we like to bet on the misfortune of others here in this stream, we actually have a little game that we're going to play.
The hands game.
So you can guess how many hands between both of our runners they will get. Anywhere between 0 if both runners get 0 and 6 if both runners get all 3. If a runner does happen to die on a hand and gets grabbed again, that does count twice. So we could potentially see more than 6, but for runners of this caliber, we will more than likely just see anywhere from 0 to 6.
Did Chuck get rangless in that fight?
I don't think he did. I think I saw the ring for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the tanks are made from wood. Like, that seems like the worst possible material to build the tank out of. I mean, it kind of makes sense for the boats, you know, that's okay. Maybe they like, we're going to have a lot of boats, right? And then they realize that there isn't really a lot of naval presence in the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, like, you got, like, what, World 3 and, like, a little bit of World 4? Otherwise, it's just landmass. But they had all this wood lying around, right? So, like, well, I guess we just make the tanks out of wood. Well, you know, it's, what are we going to do?
Yeah, especially that liquid that the boat is floating on. That's actually chocolate milk.
I believe it. I believe it's actually chocolate milk. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like anything else. You can't even try and tell me it's something else.
All right, let's see. Chuck gonna go for the boat swag. Yes, he does.
Very nice boat swag there.
A lot of boat swag from Chuck.
Cujo denying the boat swag. He does not believe in the dream.
All right, here we go. We're approaching the hands.
So we'll see how our runners fare. Chuck gets grabbed by the first hand. Cujo about to enter now. Also grabbed by the first hand. Both of our runners clearing out that first hand. Chuck getting grabbed by the second. This could be Cujo's chance. He gets past the second and the third. Cujo has taken the lead onto the fast airships.
Man, this is all on Cujo now to keep this lead. And even the race up at 1 game apiece.
Chuck does get past the third hand, but yeah, we're going to see Cujo with about a 20-second lead now. All of those hands take about 20 to 25 seconds, so there's still some very, very difficult stages left, but this is all on Cujo to execute now.
Very true. Chuck can still keep it very close, and just one slip-up can pretty much cost the lead and the game. We definitely want to have both runners keep fire throughout the rest of the game as well. See Cujo entering Boom Boom's lair first.
Grabs the orb about 48-36, so we'll see exactly what kind of lead he has here once Chuck also grabs this orb.
So 48-36 for Cujo. Take a look at Chuck's screen here. Like a 48-52 for Chuck.
So yeah, 16-second lead for Cujo. Moving into 8-1, one of the most technical stages in the entire run. And looks like he's executing it very, very well. He gets that P speed and manages it. See if Chuck can match. Looks like Chuck also with a very nice 8-1.
Get to 290. Cujo going through 8-2 with the Angry Sun. Oh no!
He bounces on that first music block. I don't think he wanted to do that. Takes the death, and now Chuck is back in the lead.
Oh no.
Looks like Chuck with a clean 8-2 here. Cujo doing everything he can to just get through the stage as quickly as possible. He is going to be able to use that tail he got from the hand and pick up a flower at the beginning of the fort, but now this is swapped back to Chuck's race to lose here.
Oh my gosh, this is very, very... Oh my gosh. I don't know how to describe
This is crazy.
I'm going to see what's going to happen here.
Cujo having some trouble actually getting up that first jump. I think the nerves might be setting in for him. Recognizes his start was gonna run out there. Is smart to keep his Fire Flower. Meanwhile, Chuck trying to get to this final door in 8F with only one P-switch. Looks like he's able to do so. See if Cujo can do the same. Cujo also able to get there, so Chuck with a little bit of a lead, but there's still some game left to be played here. We've got one more auto-scroller, then Bowser's Castle itself.
Anything can still happen, folks. Here we go with Super Tank now.
Yeah, this is actually the easiest stage in the run. You won't see it from either of our runners, but you can actually just walk right the entire time, spam out fireballs, and jump anytime it looks like you need to jump, and you will never get hit. But as I mentioned in the previous race, it's kind of one of those things where with an auto-scroller, you kind of just find a strat that works for you, and then you just do it every time, and it just works out. So we won't see, hopefully won't see, either of our runners taking a hit here. So it'll all come down to Bowser's Castle.
What was that strat called again?
I believe it's called the world-famous, patented, Day One affiliate Oglib Super Tank Strat TM with a Vengeance. I think that's where we finally ended up. I apologize if I've missed any of the extra identifiers that's been added during this tournament.
That sounds about right to me. Alright, so Chuck disposes of Boom Boom here. Approaching Bowser's Castle. So it all comes down to this.
Very important that both our runners keep their Fire Flower, as the fire kill on Bowser much, much faster than the jump kill. So still nervous time here, and deaths can happen in Bowser's Castle. We've seen it happen before, so Chuck not out of the woods here just yet. Neither of our runner getting that first clip that saves just a little bit of time, but Chuck doing the one-up clip, which saves quite a bit. Gives him a nice easy path to this top section and stops Statue Room. Keeps his P-speed very brilliantly here. And he's on to the Bowser fight.
Now we're going to see 35 fireballs to get rid of Bowser here.
Chuck not quite liking that Bowser pattern, but does clean up the fight. So Chuck is going to take Game 2 and take the series 2-0. But Cujo not far behind here.
Oh my gosh, that looks so close, but Cujo gets through as well.
Wraps it up.
And GG to both guys. They put up a hell of a race here. Chuck finishing 53-18 on his splits. I'm sure you got the SRL time, right?
Yeah, it looks like an SRL time of 53-19 for Chuck and 53-33 for Cujo. So a 14-second victory for Chuck. Congratulations to Chuck. He takes the series 2-0. We're going to try to get both of these guys in here for an interview just shortly here.
Yeah, definitely a hard-fought victory for Chuck there. Playing from behind throughout the majority of Game 2. And then some costly mistakes from Cujo pretty much decided the race there. But still very nicely done from both guys. So we're gonna wait for them to see if they're gonna jump in here.
Oh man, I was gonna enter in the scores for this best of 3, but you gotta like enter in both of the things. Oh my gosh, that's way too much. I'll let somebody else do it.
Too much work.
That is. That's like 4 things I gotta type in. That's crazy, dude. I can't do that. So I haven't heard back from either runner about interviews, but it might just be catching their breath. Oh, I think they're both popping in here, so we should be joined by both of them shortly. Maybe. I think we are joined by Cujo and potentially WhenChukAttacks. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
See if Chuck is able to hear us. He's not sure. Okay, he can't hear us, so we'll be back. So we'll talk with you, Cujo. Commiserations on the loss, but 2 very great runs. If you want to talk about either or kind of both at the same time, kind of up to you. Just kind of describe your feelings after this series.
And I put my heart into both of these races, but Chuck just... he's too good. He beat me both times, and he really earned both wins, too.
All right, I think we got Chuck back in here.
Oh, I hear you now.
Hello?
That was my
Chuck.
noobishness, sorry.
Well, welcome, Chuck. Congratulations on the wins. Kind of both 2 really, really exciting races that ended up coming down to the thick and thin of it at the end. Again, we kind of asked Cujo the same thing. Any specific thoughts on either race, or if you want to kind of talk about both of them at the same time, just kind of what your feelings are after this series?
One thing that stands out is that Music Box Bros are total jerks every time. I mean, I got both World 2 Music Bros, both runs, and both World 5 Music Bros too. Which, you know, Sky Bro is never a bro.
Yeah, I had a little bit of bad luck with the Hammer Bros too. I got a runaway in the second race in World 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I had a runaway Hammer Bro in World 5 as well. He went to the other side of 5-3, and I had to chase him all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to... Was that a decision that you normally make, Cujo, or were you just, for the race, were you deciding to go back for that P-Wing Bro, or do you normally just kind of skip over that and kind of adjust your route if you're doing like an RTA attempt? I'm kind of curious on your decision there.
I guess it kind of depends on my pace. If it's a normal RTA run and I'm on a good pace, I might just skip that Hammer Bro and go for the wall jump in 6-9.
Right.
But I don't like to do that. I hate doing those 6-9 wall jumps, so generally I prefer to just go back and get the P-Wing, especially if it's in a race like this.
Right, okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. That was more just a race decision to go back, make sure your inventory was kind of all set up. And yeah, you did have that runaway happen in World 3, but you really handled it brilliantly. You just kind of plowed on and just knew exactly what you were going to do.
Yeah,
it worked out pretty well.
I got kind of lucky that the star was out of the way in World 3 when he ran away, so I didn't actually have to fight that Hammer Bro. Right. Normally I'm left over with an extra star in my inventory anyway, so I don't actually need that star. I just kill the Hammer Bro so I can cross the bridge normally.
Right, that makes sense. So I guess I kind of did miss the first match, but I unfortunately came in possibly at the biggest moment. The 7-1 clip, I think, was really the big turning point. Cujo, you had the lead. Unfortunately, it took you 13 tries to clip in, whereas Chuck got the old mac and cheese first try. And I think that was kind of really the big turning point. And then also 7-2 after that, Cujo, you had a little bit of trouble. Was it kind of nerves at that point, or just kind of just a sudden execution error that just kind of happened at the same time? Kind of what happened there?
7-1 was kind of nerves. I wasn't really hitting the right pixel on most of those attempts, and I was just kind of, I I don't know, the more I missed it, the more nervous I got, that kind of thing.
Right, right.
But 7-2, that was just an accident. I don't know. I just mistimed my jump and fell in the hole.
Yeah, that's a very, very tough strat. You really have to manage your P speed correctly. I'm curious, did you guys know kind of where the other one was? Were you watching it all? Or I think I saw you guys chatting occasionally here, so I didn't know if you guys, how aware you guys were of where the other was.
I had the stream open.
Yeah, I was mostly just paying attention to my own game. I didn't have the stream open, but I did have chat, so I mean, I could kind of tell by their reactions what was going on.
Right,
Chuck.
Yeah,
I had every chat closed, and just the stream, so to look over every now and then.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Well, thank you guys for a fantastic series. Chuck, you do take the win 2-0, and that moves you into the granddaddy of them all, grand finals. I'm not sure exactly how that's set up. You'd have to ask Lasso, but I think he will have some sort of advantage in that best of 3. Or we're doing 2 best of 3s, I'm not sure. Again, you'll have to ask Lasso. Yeah. But you are our winner's final champion, moving on to grand finals. Cujo, this is not the end of your road. You'll be moving down to losers finals, where you'll be waiting for about 7 years to figure out your next opponent as we kind of clean up this losers bracket. There's a lot of names down there. Any specific ones that you see that you maybe want to race? Any people you want to call out to maybe try and get there so you can race them? Anything you want to say to any of your potential future competitors?
Well, the two that really stick out for me are Mitch and Horstad. Those guys are both like 2 of the best players at this game in the world. So I'm hoping I get a shot at least one of them.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. To be honest, all the runners that are left over are pretty dang good. Any of these races could go any direction.
Yeah, lots of great races still to come in this tournament. We're down to the nitty-gritty, and just killer after killer left over. Looking ahead at our schedule, those other 2 matches that we have in losers round 5 are scheduled. Let me bring up when they are. Looks like we have Bubba and Rupert scheduled for August 16th, which is Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And At Sea versus Louis is scheduled for August 19th at 3:30 a.m. Those are actually our 2 Italian runners ended up meeting. So they are picking an Italian-friendly time. We'll see if we can make something happen with that restream. But so those 2 matches on the schedule, and then we'll kind of just keep cleaning up this losers bracket as we make our way to our grand finals, where Chuck will be awaiting whomever it is that survives that gauntlet. But I think that's it for us here at the Super Mario Bros. 3 tournament. As I mentioned, we've got a ton of great action on the Speed Gaming family of networks tonight. Looks like there's Mega Man X, Zelda 1 Randomizer, and Super Metroid all kicking off right now. And we've also got some Celeste later tonight, some Chrono Trigger, some of the Super Metroid plus Link to the Past Randomizer co-op tournament. Lots of great action. If you want to see any of that, be sure to stay tuned to the Speed Gaming family of networks. I'd like to thank Cujo and Chuck for the excellent series. Great races, and good luck to you guys as you move forward here in the tournament.
Thanks, man.
Congrats, Chuck.
I'd like to thank
you again in the grand finals.
Yeah, I could definitely see it happening. Whoever it ends up being, it's going to be in another intense set of races. So best of luck. I expect to see you, or well, there.
All right. Want to thank Supersonic for joining me on the mic for this race.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's been a blast calling this race, especially watching both Chuck and Cujo. It's been an honor to watch these guys.
Thanks for calling it.
Yeah, and once again, one big shout out to Tech over at Speed Gaming for putting all this on, handling all the restreaming, handling all of our craziness, and doing it ever so brilliantly. But I think that is going to wrap it up for us here, and I hope all you guys have a great night out there.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, everybody.